Okay, so our subject is AIA or quality engineering, and the chapter number 2, that is quality engineering, quality management or quality engineering and management tools, techniques, and standard. So in quality control tools or QC tools, here systematic solution approach to any quality improvement activity is critical and always emphasized by quality gurus. So different quality gurus give the different definition of the quality as well as quality control that we had seen in the previous lectures. Dr. J.M. Juran, Dr. E. W. Demings, and Seward had given the different quality definitions, as well as they also have given the quality control tools. And these quality control tools are useful to achieve the maximum quality, to achieve the good quality in our industry or in our field. The various tools and techniques are commonly used to identify the critical control variables. So these types of various tools and techniques are commonly used to identify the critical control variables. And if we identify these variable, then we can able to modify it, rectify it to achieve the better quality. The very basic techniques used in quality management is 7 QC tools. 7 QC means 7 quality control tools. So in your chapter, the concept is 7 QC quality improvement tools. That is also known as 7 QC tools. Okay, so 7 quality control tools, which consist of Pareto diagram, or you can also say that the Pareto analysis, Pareto diagram or Pareto analysis. Second, process flow diagram. Third, cause and effect diagram. Fourth, check sheet. Fifth number, histogram. Six, run charts. And last one is 7, scatter diagram. So Pareto diagram, process flow diagram, cause and effect diagram. This cause and effect diagram is also known as fishbone diagram and Ishikawa diagram also. Okay, the third number QC tools are also known as, this is the cause and effect diagram, is also known as fishbone diagram and Ishikawa diagram, because Dr. Ishikawa had invented this diagram. That's why in respect to their name, his name, the diagram name is Ishikawa diagram or cause and effect diagram. So there are 7 techniques or 7 tools to improve the quality. That's why it's known as 7 QC tools. So in this lecture, we will just discuss about first tool, that is Pareto diagram. Okay. Before that, the additional statistical tools are also used, that are hypothesis testing, regression analysis, ANOVA, ANOVA, that is ANOVA, and it is stands for analysis of variance. Okay, ANOVA, and design of experiment. So additionally, these are additionally statistical quality control tool, except that 7 QC tools. Okay, but we'll discuss right now, we will discuss only 7 QC tools, and among these 7 QC tools, today we will discuss only the first one, that is Pareto diagram or Pareto analysis. So here in your screen, you can clearly see the diagram, Pareto diagram. This is a Pareto diagram for titanium investment casting defects. Okay, so first of all, just see this definition. A Pareto diagram is a graph that ranks the data in descending order from left to right. So here left toward right, you just represent your data in the graph. So Pareto diagram is a graph that ranks the data, or you can say that your data or your defect in descending order. Descending order means highest defects will come on the left side and the lowest number of defect will come on the right side. So you have to arrange your defect from highest to lowest order or in descending order and arrange it from leftward to rightward. So here see, this is the shrink defect, then porosity, then weld, LOF. LOF means lack of fusion. Okay, weld, LOF, then cell inclusion, then next is hard alpha inclusion and tungsten inclusion. So this number of defects found in titanium investment casting. So if you found this type of defect, okay, so you just represent all the defect in form of chart to grab the vital few defects or most to identify the most critical defect. So the procedure is to draw the graph, and on the horizontal line, this is the horizontal line of the graph. So on the horizontal line, you have to represent or you have to put the problem, or you can say that defects. You have to place your problem or defect on the horizontal scale. Okay, this is the horizontal scale. And on the vertical scale, this is your vertical scale. On the vertical scale, you have to place the defect frequency, number of defects, or you can say that the defect frequency, or you can also put it in the form of dollars or rupees. Okay, means your defect is generated. So how much it is valued in how much dollar or rupees. So you can also put it on the vertical bar, dollar or rupees also, or you can also place the defect frequency. So here we have taken these defects on the horizontal bar and defect frequency on the vertical bar. And on the another side of the vertical phase, there is a cumulative percentage. Okay, so this is cumulative percentage, addition of all these defects. So if you add the percentage of all these ones, so that is nothing but cumulative percentage. So Pareto diagram is nothing but a graph that ranks the data or defects in descending order from left side to right side. So that is a Pareto diagram. This is the Pareto diagram. Suppose consider, suppose I'm sending you one email. That email having certain document, attachment is some document. And if you found certain problem to grab that attachment, so for that particular problems, you can draw your Pareto diagram like this. Suppose one number of problems you can found. Number one is unable to download. If you are unable to download the file, and the frequencies means number of person will unable to download the file. So that is the frequency. Okay, means from the 100 students, suppose 70 students are unable to download the file. So 80 out of 100, 80 students are unable to download the file. Means the frequency is 80. 80 times it is repeated. Then can't find the file. Suppose some 40 to 45% students can't find the file. So that is for a problem. Okay, another problem is it open as read only. Then you can found the can't change background. Okay, from that file you can't change your background. Then can't open the file. Some person having the problem of can't open the file, but the frequency is very less. Then found a bug. Okay, suppose some virus is detected, so that is also a problem. Then can't save changes. Then another problem is don't have Excel. and last one is doesn't work in open office software. Okay, suppose these are some problems, and according to the frequency of that particular problem, you just identify problem and place that problem from leftward to rightward in a descending order. Means the highest frequency problem you have to place on the left side, then another highest frequency problem, then another. Means you have to arrange all such problem, whatever you find from that email, you just place it from leftward to rightward. Okay, so we have just placed this all problem. So from the horizontal axis, problems or defects are there. On the vertical axis, frequency are there, and opposite side, cumulative percentage are there. Got it? Now, from this diagram, you can easily identify vital few and usual many. Vital few means what? Due to certain major problem, okay, which are you can find which one problem or which problem are critical. So in this diagram you can easily see this. The higher percentage of the problem cluster are unable to download the file, can't find the file, and open as read only. That three problems having the higher percentage. So that you can say that these problems are known as vital few, or it is a critical. And another one is having a lesser percentage. Okay, see here the percentage is very less, and it is a very less here. So all these one from can't change the background to doesn't work in open office problems are put in the useful menu. Okay, so you can categorize your problem into critical one or vital few, and another category is useful many. So from this Pareto diagram or Pareto analysis, you can just identify your critical problem, which one are critical. So if you find the critical problem, then you can easily focus on that problems and just remove it. This is just example. You can create your Pareto diagram according to your duties or according to your job. Got it? Now the vital few. Okay, as I told you, this one, 1, 2, and 3. These are having the higher frequency, so it is named as vital few. Okay, and these are this one from can't change the background to doesn't work in open office is called useful many. Okay, so vital few will come on the left of the diagram, and the useful many are on the right side. So Pareto diagrams can be distinguished from the histogram. Okay, as you see the list of the 7QC tools, there are histograms also. Okay, but in some quality control tools, histogram are also there. So histogram and Pareto diagram are resembled into the first appearance, but both are the different. What is the difference between these two, Pareto diagram and histogram? Horizontal scale of the Pareto diagram is categorical. Means on the horizontal scale of the Pareto diagram, there are certain categories. It may be a problem, it may be a defects, okay, any category. While the scale for the histogram is a numerical or a continuous. Okay, so in histogram what happened? In histogram, horizontal scale having the numerical or the continuous value. While in our Pareto diagram or Pareto analysis, the horizontal scale having the categorical or some defects or some problems. Okay, it is not a numerical value, it is a categorical value. Means it may be a defect, it may be a problem, it may be error, anything. Any category may be fall into that particular horizontal scale, while in histogram, it must be a numerical value or a continuous values. Okay, so this is the difference between these two diagrams, histogram and Pareto analysis. Okay, but at the first look, it is a resemble Pareto diagram and histogram. Pareto diagram are used to identify the most important problem type. Okay, as I told you in this figure, that from this figure you can easily identify most important or most critical problems are these three. Okay, so from the diagram you can easily identify the critical problem or most important problem. Okay, here in our case, suppose these three are the most important problem: unable to download the file, can't open the file, and open as read only. And in the previous figure also, here these three are most important, or you can say that these two also. Okay, that is a shrink defect and porosity defect are the most important or critical problem, and you can identify these two from this diagram. The Pareto diagram are used to identify the most important problem type. And this is most important statement. Just please keep in your mind, usually 80% of the problems are caused by 20% of the items. This is also known as 80-20 rule. Suppose in examinations, examiner ask, explain 80-20 rule. Okay, so the Pareto diagram itself represents the 80-20 rule, because from the Pareto diagram you can generally find out 80% of the problem. But okay, 80% of problems that are caused by 20% of the item. See in this figure, 80% of problem. Okay, this 80% of problem among, suppose this is 100%. Okay, so among these 80% of problems are caused by these three items only. Okay, so this is called 80-20 rule. 80% of the problems are caused by 20% of the item from all your lot. So please keep in your mind the rule. The rule is also known as 80-20 rule. And what the rule says, usually 80% of the problems are caused by 20% of the items. Okay, this fact is shown in the above figure, means this one, this figure. Okay, this figure. This fact is shown in the above figure, where we find out the three problems. Which one? Unable to download. This first one, unable to download, can't find the file, and open as read only. Okay, these three problems account for about 80% of the total problems. These three problems account for 80%. Okay, so these 80% of the problems are caused by 20% of the item. Means these are the three items. Okay, so among these three items, 80% problems are arised. That's why it is known as 80-20 rule. Okay. Now, actually, most important items could be identified by listing them in descending order. Okay, you have to just identify the problem, then arrange all the problems in a descending order. So most important items could be identified by listing them in descending order. However, graph has an advantage of providing a visual impact, showing those vital few characteristics that needs attention. Okay, so from this diagram you can easily identify the vital few. And if you identify that vital few problems, then you can easily focused, or you can easily give the attention towards that vital few problems, and you can resolve it. If you focus it, and then you can resolve it. So from this diagram you can easily identify that particular problem. Now there are 5 steps to draw the Pareto diagram. So construction of a Pareto diagram is a very simple. There are 5 steps involved. Step number 1. First step is the determine method of classifying the data. Means you have to just classify the data according to which category you want to draw your graph. So your category may be problems, maybe cause, maybe non-conformities, maybe error, anything, maybe defects, okay, and so on. So determine method of classifying the data, and the data may be a problem, cause, non-conformities, defects, error, and so on. Step number 2, once you decide your category, then step number 2, decide if the dollar or frequency, your vertical column could be dollar or it could be a frequency. In our case, we have taken the frequency. Okay, you can also draw the diagram according to the dollar or rupees also. So decide if the dollar or frequency or both are to be used to rank the characteristics. Both means you can draw it according to the frequency also and in dollar also. In this case, you have to draw two Pareto diagram, one for the dollar or rupees and another for the frequency. Okay, step number 3, collect data for an appropriate time interval. Okay, you have to choose certain time interval for getting this data. So collect the data for an appropriate time interval or use historical data. Decide, you have to decide it, which type of data you have to collect it. Okay, so if you want to collect it on throughout the process, then you have to choose some specified time interval. Then step number 4, summarize the data and rank order categories from largest to smallest. This is very important. Once you just decide your data, then your frequency, then which method to collect the data, and then you have to summarize your data from largest to smallest and arrange that largest to smallest from left side to right side. And step number 5, construct the diagram and find the vital few problem area. Once you construct the diagram, then you can easily identify which one are vital few problems. The diagram can also provide cumulative percentage information and given in many statistical software, say Minitab. If you put all these data into Minitab software, Minitab is a statistical software. If you provide this data into that software, then that software can directly gives you a Pareto diagram. You can see in this is the diagram made by Minitab software. Okay, here one curvature line is there. That is nothing but a cumulative percentage of all the defects. Here at the end of here 100% means the percentage of first number 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that is cumulative. It is increased and it will reach up to 100%. So this line will give you the idea of cumulative percentage of the problem. The Pareto diagram is a powerful quality improvement tool to determine the most critical problem to be considered first. Okay, so why this tool is used? The Pareto diagram is a powerful quality improvement tool to determine the most critical problem to be considered first. Okay, so once you draw this diagram, then from this diagram you can easily identify the critical one. So from this diagram, you can easily identify the vital few or critical problems. And if you identify these, you can just need to attention on that particular problem or defects. And once you focus on that defects, you can solve it or you can modify it to get the better quality. Okay, so thank you very much. So our first, if you have any doubt, then please ask me.